Shalom, Israel.
Move over a little bit. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. This is history class. We come to history class what? To learn history. History of the past and the present. Anything that happened in the past is going to happen in the present and is bound to happen again in the future. This is the way the world is made. You feel me? It's a lie. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, history is important to us because if we look at past history, we can understand who we are, what we've been through, and then we can prevent the things that that's happening now. We can prevent the travesties and the tragedies that, we can prevent some of those things from happening over again. But as you know, in past history, Israel has been in captivity. Who is Israel? We are Israel, the so-called black, so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians. We have been in captivity. We have been in several captivities, and what happened? We are in another captivity today. We are in this captivity today, which this is our last captivity. After this captivity, there will be no more captivity. But how do we come out of this captivity? That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, You feel me? Amar?
Yes, sir.
Amar?
Yes, sir.
A lot of us don't understand, how do we come up out of this captivity? So I'm a pose the question to you and the people online. If anybody can tell me, how do we come up out of this captivity? Can somebody give me that answer? Hold up for a second. Let me hit this real quick. I know you know. Man, I'm behind today.
It happens. What you did, sir.
But I'm glad to be here. Amen. So,
I say one that you always go to, Zephaniah 21. You go.
and that's a perfect scripture. Grab that scripture. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Zephaniah.
Before you read that, but what do you say? Give it to me in your words. How do we come up out of this captivity? Give it to me in your words.
Come together ourselves.
Right.
Separate from the enemy. And
right.
Build ourselves up.
Exactly. And what else? See, think about this, right? The Black Panthers came together, right?
Okay.
But what happened?
They fell because they weren't following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Moses.
Not only that, it's another thing, right? Think about this. Martin Luther King, A. Philip Randolph, John Lewis that just passed.
Yes.
Him and a couple of other brothers, they came together, but what happened to that?
They fell because they weren't in the truth.
Weren't in the truth, but it's another thing. I'm trying to get you there. You get in there. You're going to get there, right?
Okay.
Think about this, right? Many people can come together and do anything, right? Or many people can come together and say, this is what we need to do. But what hinders all of those people from coming together and making something happen? What hinders it?
The only thing I can think of, sir, is them not doing it the way the Most High told us to do it.
That's true, right? But it's one thing that, everything that you said is perfect, but it's one thing that solidifies all of it or ties all of it together. It's one thing that ties all of that together. A couple of weeks ago, when we was in class some weeks ago, you gave me the answer. Being on the same accord. Remember, listen, Zephaniah 2 and 1. Go ahead, read Zephaniah 2 and 1. We're going to go through it. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Now think about this, right? It says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Think about this, right? If a nation is not desired, what does it cause you to do? It causes you to come together, right? But that togetherness will not solidify itself if everybody isn't on the same page. Think about this. Black Panthers, they was against our oppressor. Martin Luther King, they wanted to come together. Everybody come together in one big conglomerate. Black Panthers, they wanted to do it with guns and physicality. You understand what I'm saying? Martin Luther King, he wanted to love everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody was on the same page. Nobody was on the same accord. The difference between them and the ISUPK and the Muslims and the Christians and all of that is that we are all on one accord. We have an understanding and we understand who our oppressor is. You understand what I'm saying? And because we understand who our oppressor is, and because we are under the commanding general, Your Honor, we understand what it is to be on one accord. We have our roles and we have a mission. You understand? And we all understand that mission and we are all on one accord. Those groups fail because, yeah, they know that there is a problem. They want to come together. They come together, but nobody is on the same accord. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody wants to lead, or everybody has an idea better than the idea that's put before them. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we are a destroyed people, because we are not on one accord. I was just talking to a sister today, right? And we got to talking about the hair industry, right? So I'm gonna pose this question to you. Who owns the hair industry?
Everybody but us.
But mainly
the man, so-called white man.
Yeah, but the Koreans run it.
Oh yeah, they run
the hair industry. And she tried to say, oh no, we run that industry. And listen, but this is the thing. She said we run that industry because Vivica Fox has a hairline. Someone uses Vivica Fox's name and her likeness to sell black women hair. You understand what I'm saying? Vivica Fox does not own that hair industry. She doesn't even own the company that has her name on the face of it. You understand? But a lot of us are deceived because we don't know the truth. And when you don't know the truth, you will always follow a lie. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why the ISUPK is the home of the truth. Because we can't be befuddled by lies. Is that a word? Was that a word, befuddled? We're going to act like it's a word today. You feel me? We're going to act like befuddled. We can't be befuddled. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole point is because we are so scattered, this is what makes our job difficult when we come out there on those streets, which is the same thing with the prophets of old. It made it hard for the prophets of old, Jeremiah, Hezekiah, Moses, and all these other prophets of old. It made it hard for them because people weren't on the same accord. And because they weren't on the same accord, they believed what was told to them by anybody. And this is the same with our people today. You understand? So think about this this election coming up, right? Think about the election coming up. Think about who's running for president. We already know who's already the incumbent, right? Trump, he's already the incumbent. But look at the bastard that's coming up now that's going up against him. Another person that doesn't like us, who doesn't like the children of Israel, who doesn't like so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand what I'm saying? So now, what did he do to make himself more appealing?
I wouldn't know. I don't know like that.
Who did he bring along with him? Kamala Harris, the governor from California. Am I correct with that? The governor, she was the governor, right?
Yeah.
The governor of California. She destroyed black men, Hispanic men out in California. To the likeness of football numbers.
Gun.
You understand what I'm saying? She was giving out, and I'm saying she wasn't doing this to the our so-called oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? She's giving Hispanics and blacks numbers that's unbelievable out of this world. destroying us totally. But guess what? Guess who's being deceived by her? Our women.
Come.
They know that the women's vote is strong. They know that there are black men that vote, but they know the majority of the black vote is coming through the woman.
Come.
This is the same way in the garden. What did the oppressor do in the garden? He deceived who? He knew he could make it happen coming through Eve. This is why the serpent never came to the man, he came to Eve. And this is why the woman has to be what?
Led.
She has to be led, but she has to be under her head. Who is her head? The man. Christ is the head of the man, and Salakia. Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of woman. You understand? And so forth on down. Woman is the head of children. You understand what I'm saying? Because they know that the majority of the black vote is coming through the woman, they select a so-called black woman because she's not black. She's actually white. Her father's grandfather's grandfather was a slave owner.
Come.
Her mother is an Elamite.
Come.
East Indian. So, but because she took on that East Indian color, it makes her look as though she is Israel, which she is not. And she displays it. You understand what I'm saying? Her father has some Jamaican in him. You understand what I'm saying? And she made a comment when somebody asked her about how do you feel about the marijuana laws, and she made a little provocative comment about, oh, I'm half Jamaican. So what do you think? You understand what I'm saying? And then her father made a comment. He was disgusted with her. You understand? To ridicule his side of the family. You understand? Which they don't have a good relationship. They had a rocky relationship as it was. And now, you know, that was on CNN. You understand what I'm saying? So she is as evil as they come. You already saw Joe Biden say what? You know, back in, what was that, 77, they got their comment, and he was talking about he didn't want his kids around blacks because they would do what? It would become a jungle or something of that effect. I'm just pulling that salad.
He said he didn't want schools integrated because the schools would become a jungle with monkeys in it.
Exactly.
Niggas in it.
You know,
He's saying.
you know who he's referring to when he says monkeys. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get back to the scripture. Read that scripture again.
Hey, before you, Salaki, I got a video for you with Biden.
Go ahead.
And they trick us so much because it shows us Biden, you know, he has a whole bunch of black children around him. And he's talking some pedophilia nonsense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's talking about them touching his legs and some unaudible nonsense. This man hates black people.
Yeah.
And Kamala, she was never even raised in a black neighborhood with black families. She was raised with her mother, an East Indian. And on every resume she's ever had, on her birth certificate, she lists her race as Caucasian. She don't list her race as black. She didn't start doing that until it started benefiting her running for certain things. Now, back when she was in Oakland, she was locking brothers up for simple marijuana possession, giving them 5 to 10 years, ridiculous sentences, man. Ridiculous sentence, and then made that ridiculous comment about I'm half Jamaican. The half Jamaican that your slave owner grandfather raped the slave?
Right.
That half?
Exactly. And the thing is, right?
Don't forget I got the video for you.
Hey,
No, whenever you're ready to run it, just tell me.
But this is the crazy thing though, right? She understands who she is. She classifies herself as white because she is. She just has a little U in her from her mother's side. You understand? Her father has some U in him too. You understand? Which makes her look like she's Israel, but she's not. You understand what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is Biden understands who she is too. He knows she's not a so-called Negro. He knows she's white. And this is the reason why he picked her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
He picked her on that premise that he knew he could deceive a woman. He could deceive a so-called Negro woman into believing this is our chance to step up. You understand what I'm saying? So now, forever in their history books, Obama's going to be the first black president, so-called Negro president, and she's going to be the so-called first African-American black woman, which she's not. Their history books have always been wrong and will always be wrong. You understand? But we have to come together and we have to be on one accord. Zephaniah 2:1 says, gather yourself together, yea, gather yourself together, O nation not designed. When it says gather yourself together, in order to gather yourself together, you have to do what? You have to come away from something. You have to come out of something. You have to separate yourself from something. What does it mean?
Let's get the video for you go off.
Good, you got the video? Go ahead, run that video. Run that video.
Where when I was in law school, proudly for Holloway, proudly for your dad, first African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about it. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn.
This was the part.
Look at this propaganda, right? Look at the black kids in the back. Ain't no white kids. Is there any white kids in that? That's so racist. It's gotta be think about it, right? I don't know what I would think if I wasn't in the truth, but I know what I see. You understand what I'm saying? And this has got to be propaganda from Hitler. This has got to be on the same level as Hitler propaganda. You understand what I'm saying? He using our children, because why do you use children? Because children touch the heart of people. You understand? This is the reason why you use children. Children touch your heart. And who has the softest heart of all of us? So-called black woman. And when a so-called black woman sees a white man with all of these little black children, she's going to vote for him. Then when she sees a so-called oppressor that looks like a black woman, which she doesn't know that that's an oppressor, it's going to soften her heart even more. And then you go out and you vote for your oppressor. This is a dangerous game. You understand? And our people don't understand. A lot of us don't understand what's being forced on us. Slavery is being forced on us. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, the outcome is going to be the same. You will receive nothing. Think about voting, right? Go ahead, back to the video. Back to the video. I'm sorry, it's a lot. Back to the video, my man. I get the rolling.
That turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to blonde in the sun, and the kids turn that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the men, they're not all men, the guys I work with down here, and they're all guys at the time, they're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling
does roaches? What does roaches and rubbing his leg got to do with him running for president? Listen, these people are so filthy. They don't even understand. The filth slides out of their mouth. The propaganda slides out of their mouth. What did roaches? What was the purpose of him talking about roaches and loving kids on his lap, but seeing that he's a propagandist and he likes pedophilia? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I never heard nothing so stupid. I didn't even. Where did that come from?
He said it a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
At a function at an African American school. Yeah.
He's a dirty old man.
You know, when they run for president, they bring all that back up.
Right. So my thing is, go ahead.
It killed me when he said he loved little kids jumping up on his lap.
Jumping up on his lap. He loves little kids jumping up on his lap. Rubbing his legs. What did roaches have to do? I mean, come on, now, where did that come from? I'm not even understanding, the thing is, right, because of the witchcraft that they use on our women will fall to this. You understand what I'm saying? All of that rambling is, it didn't even make sense to me. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of stupid stuff. So I'm trying to understand, how can't you see how filthy these people are? How can't you see how they use us? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is incredible, and this is the reason why we are destroyed. We are a destroyed people. Hey, let's go into this. Let's go into a grab. You got the Apocrypha? Give me 1 Ezra chapter 8, verse 85. We gonna touch on this. Hold on for a second. Yeah, 1 Ezra chapter 8, verse 85. You got that? Go ahead.
First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 85. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
Say that again.
Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
It says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. We can't have peace with our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? There is no having peace with your oppressor. The Native Indians did this with the oppressor, and they got destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? The Native Indians were destroyed because they made agreements and they made covenants and they made pacts with the oppressor. They made over 177 covenants with the oppressor, and every one of those covenants, the oppressor wiped out. You understand what I'm saying? The oppressor does that to us today. Think about this, right? Pimlico Racetrack been up at Pimlico Racetrack been up there off of Park Heights since 1890. They built that track in 1890, right? In the 60s, they said that the revenue from the racetrack was going to help to revitalize that Park Heights neighborhood. They say that every year. You understand what I'm saying? Our oppressor always breaks his covenants. This is just what he does. What did the Native Indians say? He said, white man speak with forked tongue, right? This is a part of him. You understand? And the thing is we keep falling for the same thing over and over and over again. You understand? But this is the reason why we go out on those corners, because we have to yell it to the rooftops to our people. We have to speak to our people. We have to inform our people of what's going on. They thought heaven was about to come down on earth when Obama got elected. And what happened? Obama gave us what? Homosexuality. He gave everything to what? The LGBTQ all of them, the gays, the lesbians, everybody that was a homosexual got something. And guess what? When you ask, and I'm not putting this on our black women, but I talked to a couple of them, right? And we talked about that very subject. And I said, well, what did Obama do for us? And guess what they said? He gave us free health care. I said, no, Obama didn't give us free health care. Obama gave everybody free health care. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't point us out and say, I'm doing this for just y'all. You understand? But he did give homosexuality to our people. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, this is the reason why we talked about it earlier, just now, right? We talked about it earlier about the order. This is the reason why our women have to come up under us. Because when the woman falls, the man falls too. And most of the time, why do our men fall?
A lot of times fall behind women.
There you go, exactly. The same thing happened to who in the Bible?
Solomon, for one.
Solomon, and who else?
A lot.
The last judge,
The big guy.
Samson.
Samson,
You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? This is a, you know what I heard? I heard, what's it? General Mayak or General Hazayan said that everything that happened, and I've heard several of our brothers say that everything that happens in the Bible happened already, happens again. Everything that, any problems that we have in the world now, we can solve with the Bible. Captain Zarian said that. We can solve it with the Bible. There's no problem that's happening now that we can't solve with the Bible. We have the blueprint. This is our blueprint to life. This is our blueprint to heaven. It says the Bible says what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Open that book. Follow those laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, what you got?
Oh, nothing new under the sun, that's all.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Everything that happened.
That's exactly.
Already happened, happening now, or happening in, or
Exactly.
Friday, and some of it. If
There's
we
no
do
new
it right.
thing under the sun. Exactly. But it's the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because we don't follow our law, statutes, and commandments. You understand what I'm saying? All right, let's finish that up. Go ahead.
First Ezra 8:85, from the beginning of
Yep, from the beginning.
8:85. Moreover, you shall never seek to have peace with them.
Moreover, you should never seek to have peace with them. We can't make any covenants with them. All of the covenants that we make need to be with our own people. We need to, it's nothing wrong with doing business with them, but we should never seek to have peace with them. Never make a covenant with them. You understand? Never agree to anything with them. We can do business, but we should never seek to have peace. Go ahead.
That ye may be strong.
That ye may be strong. Listen, when you following these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you don't seek peace with them, you are strong. When you seek peace with them, you are giving yourself over to the enemy. To seek peace with an enemy, you are giving yourself over to him. We have, think about this, right? We are some of the most forgiving people on this earth. We are the most forgiving people on this earth. You understand what I'm saying? And whenever we make peace with our oppressor, the oppressor takes advantage of that. When you seek to have peace with them, think about it. Martin Luther King seek to have peace with them, right? Where's Martin Luther King at today? Trying to make peace with them. Malcolm X, in the end of his life, he seeked to have peace. He wanted to get together with our oppressor. And what happened to him? But you can't make peace with your oppressor. It says, it says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. Never let your guard down. Go ahead, finish. That ye may be strong. Right? The only way that you can be strong is to not seek peace, to help your own people. You will be strong if you follow these laws, statutes, and commandments and keep your oppressor at bay. Go ahead.
And eat the good things of the land.
And eat the good things of the land. When you don't seek peace with your oppressor, you will have industries. You will have businesses. You will have things to take care of your family. You will have things to leave as as generational wealth for your family. You understand what I'm saying? But because we seek peace, when you seek peace with the oppressor, you give all of your things away. Think about this, right? In Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, why was Black Wall Street so successful in the time of the Great Depression?
Because we still had segregation, we had to stay together, we had to gather ourselves together, stay together, and our money stayed with us. We had our hospitals.
That's exactly right.
Hospitals, railroads, airports, colleges, universities, and they all stayed with us instead of us giving it back to them.
Because we had to depend on our own. We knew, at the time, we knew who the enemy was. And because we knew the enemy didn't want us around, we had to depend on our own. So what did we have to do? We had to come together and be on one accord. And because we had to be on one accord, that's why Black Wall Street was so successful. Because they had to depend on one another. It couldn't be any getting over and doing this and doing that. You understand what I'm saying? You had to be truthful. You had to be right. Because anything outside of that circle was hell. I mean, it was hell at the time, but they had a little glimpse of heaven. They start showing all of these clips of Black Wall Street, and you see how happy the people were in the midst of the Great Depression, in the midst of World War I. You understand what I'm saying? These people, listen, our oppressor was suffering. Our oppressor was suffering. You understand what I'm saying? The only way we can be successful is if we depend on one another. You understand? Think about this, right? I was thinking about this today. I see a lot of people talking about reparations. Right? If we got reparations, what will we do with it? I can tell you about what 95% of the people will do with it. Go out, buy houses, buy cars, buy gym memberships. You understand what I'm saying? Try to invest, and in 30 years, we'd be right back up under the oppressor.
Yeah.
And the reason why? Because what? How can you really keep anything if your oppressor owns all of the gas and electric, owns all of the water, owns all of the land? See, this is where our good devil.
Right. Giving black people a reparations in monetary form would be a stimulus package for white people. That's all it would be. It would be a stimulus package. You buy their cars, buy their houses, invest in their markets, and they would be richer, more wealthier than ever. No.
Listen, sir, I watched General Yahana when they were in Chicago and they had Captain Malakwa and his grandmother. And she talked about how they were back then. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is in those days, they knew who the enemy was. You understand what I'm saying? They knew exactly who the enemy was. And the problem with us today is we don't know who the enemy is. After everything that we've been through, we can't recognize the enemy. You understand?
Not ain't just been through, but we still going through. It's not
Right, we still going through.
All the robbing and breaking and lynching and shooting. We just see it on after we got the camera.
And the whole thing is just like Police Officer Kawan said, giving us reparations would be a stimulus package for white people. Because just like every year when we get our taxes back, what do? Taxes is a small reparation. It's a small vision of what reparations would look like. We take that money, we wait to get that check, and then we run right out and give it right back to the oppressor. which does what? It boosts the economy. Listen, CNN said that 70% of the economy is built on the consumer. Who is the consumer? We are the consumer. We are the consumer because we buy, but we don't sell. Every nation that's in the U.S. and America buys and sells. They do business internationally. We are the only nation of people that don't do business internationally. We are consumers. So when you hear on TV they talking about the consumer, they talking about us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand what I'm saying? We are the consumer.
Real quick, so even to mention what you mentioned, talk on what you mentioned earlier about the half, Koreans just got here. And
Right.
they doing big,
They're doing big business. Listen, I saw a clip the other day of some brothers and sisters breaking into a Korean store going snatching head. It hurt bad because our people value that stuff so much so that they will break into a store of people who are taking advantage of you. And you actually think you're taking advantage of them by stealing that, when they made so much money that what you stole was just a drop in the bucket. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of it, they got you on video, they see your face. So now when they come lock you up, they got you back. Plus, now the oppressor got you caught up in the system. And now the oppressor's getting paid and the Koreans is getting paid again too. You understand what I'm saying? But because we so destroyed as a people, we are so destroyed that we can't see that. The only thing we see is something free. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, let's finish that.
And that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
That ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children. We don't have anything to leave our children. You understand what I'm saying? But all of those industries are things that we are supposed to have to leave into our children. The Koreans, if you look at the Chinese store, every so many years, you see young faces coming up in those Korean stores. You say, well, where Ling Ling at? Oh, she gone back, and I'm her nephew or I'm her niece, and I'm taking over, blah, blah, blah. And they keep rolling it over and rolling it over, and you still in the same neighborhood, and your family is coming up in the same neighborhood, and now they robbing your family. Ling Ling was robbing you, and now Ling Ling nieces and nephews are robbing your nieces and nephews. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have anything to leave our children. We don't have anything to leave our people. You understand? Think about the millionaires and billionaires, right? So think about Oprah's and Jay-Z's and all of these billionaires, so-called billionaires, right? At the end of the day, I have never seen anybody leave off the face of this earth and leave anything for their children. Michael Jackson didn't do it. Prince didn't do it. What's her name? What's her name that died? The singer. What's her name? Bobby Brown's wife. Whitney Houston. None of them did it. What's the old singer that died not too long ago? They said she died broke. Every. You mean to tell me every singer, every actor, all of these people are dying broke? Everybody's broke. Prince had the rights to the Beatles. He had the whole Beatles collection. He had ownership of that. That's back in the hands of Sony. Sony owns all the rights.
That was Mike.
Michael Jackson?
That was Mike.
But what did, who had the, I thought they said Prince had the Beatles. That was Michael Jackson. But they got it. Sony got it. They got all the Prince's stuff too. Remember, Prince got his the rights to all his music. And now they own all the rights to his music again. Whitney Houston, they own everything of Whitney Houston. And you mean to tell me all those trips Whitney Houston was taking, all that stuff her and Bobby Brown was doing together before she died, and then she died broke? You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. When your oppressor owns everything, when your oppressor owns the land that your house is on, you can never leave anything to your children. When the oppressor owns the water that you drink, you can never leave anything to your children. They got a law now in some states that you can't even collect rainwater. How can you not collect something that comes out of the sky for free? You feel me? Who does that? Our oppressor. You feel me? So the thing is we have to, just like Commanding General Yohana said, we building up the nation right now, right before their eyes, right under their nose. You understand what I'm saying? This nation is being built. This is the way it should be built. And then our people are being taught. We're being taught who the enemy is. You understand? We understand who we up against. We understand the power of the enemy. We understand where his power lies. His power lies in us. And the more of us that move away from him, the less power he has. Think about this, right? What was the event that happened in 1955 that showed a sparkle and a glimmer of our power? 1955. You know.
Boycott.
You got it.
Yeah, it's a boycott. I never thought about it.
Yeah, the Alabama bus boycott.
Yeah, bus boycott. I
Right?
couldn't think of the name.
That showed a glimmer. A glimmer. Right? That showed a glimmer of the power of what we had. What was the mistake that was made?
I know we stopped for how long we stopped for less than a month.
What was the mistake that they made? I'll give it to you. The mistake that they made was trying to come together with your oppressor. Trying to make amends with your oppressor. Begging your oppressor to take your money is the biggest mistake that you could ever make. What they should have done in that Alabama bus boycott, when they boycotted for over a year, just about a year, right? When they boycotted, what they should have been doing is making plans to start their own bus line. Then you shut their whole bus line down. But not only did they boycott the buses, but they began to boycott some of the stores and the diners. The economy began to fall. You understand? Because they said 70% of the riders on those buses were African American. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. Listen, Christ didn't say that the kingdom of heaven was at hand for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? He said the kingdom of heaven is at hand because the power is right here. The power lies right there. Listen, right in that book. That book that's in your hand, open that book. That's the power. It tells you how to operate amongst the heathens. How to do business with your brothers and sisters. How to do business in and out of your nation. If you're in another nation, it tells you how to operate amongst the other nations. You understand? It tells you how to love your brothers and sisters. It tells you, go ahead.
I got Kamala Harris's birth certificate.
Go ahead, give it to me. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it says.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. Let me put it on the screen real quick.
You put that on the screen. Grab that First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. Grab that.
It's on the screen, and her birth certificate, Kamala Harris, shows that her race is Caucasian. That's what she got written on the birth certificate. Her race is Caucasian. Her father, it says Jamaican. Her mother, it says Indian. But it lists her race as Caucasian, which is completely correct because it comes from her father, whose father was a white slave owner who raped one of his slaves on the plantation in Jamaica. This woman not only is not black, but she hates black people. We've been bamboozled as we have for the past 400 years. All right, I'll leave that up for a second.
Listen, man, it is heart-wrenching to know that our people can be deceived in this way. And listen, like I said before, he didn't pick her just by happenstance. This was planned. You understand what I'm saying? And it was planned. Think about this, right? She said she was one of those children that was bused into a white school, right? Remember this, if I'm not mistaken, her mama is a
Indian, you said.
No, she's an East Indian, but I'm talking about her profession. These are two high. What is he, a chemist? Her father's like a chemist or something like that, and then she's something else. She didn't come up in your hood. She was already living amongst the oppressor. She was already recognized as being Caucasian. You understand what I'm saying? Then, when her mother and her father separated, she was 7 years old when they separated. Her mother won custody after 2 years. Her mother won custody, and they didn't have a tight relationship anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Her relationship was basically with her mother. Even when she did the acceptance and spoke about her mother, she never said anything about her father. You understand what I'm saying? So she was already recognized as being Caucasian. So all of that propaganda of her when she confronted Joe Biden about I was one of those who was bussed in, that was bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? That was bull, total bull, and it was propaganda. It was made to be like that. He didn't pick her just because, oh man, I'm so hurt. Yeah, you know what? I gotta do right. I gotta pick her. No, he already knew her background. You understand what I'm saying? The pick was already made. All of that FaceTiming each other and him asking her to accept. Do you accept? Man, that was they planned all of that. It looked like it was planned. You understand? Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. That was bull. You feel me? That was bull. You know, but it made it good daytime TV for women. It made good daytime TV for our women because they believed it and they loved it. You understand? And they cheered it. The whole time they got plans of taking us down. You understand what I'm saying?
And like you were saying earlier, it's gonna make a good vote turnout for them when all it's out Eve. Well, they already deceived, but it's gonna make a good vote turnout when they use them.
Well, think about this, right? Before Obama, people was getting rowdy already anyway, especially around with the vote. So what did they do? They brought Obama in. That rejuvenated everything, right? So now what they did was
Senator Harris says she's
to coincide the propaganda of Obama, they flipped the script and brought Trump in. You understand what I'm saying? So now, to flip it even more, because now blacks are against Trump, and you got whites that are against Trump, and you got Republicans that are against Trump, right? So how do you flip that script even more? Well, you bring in Biden, but not only that, a lot of black men don't like Biden because of, you know, the things that he said. So then you attach a lookalike, somebody who looks like she's Negro. So now you capture the black vote from the women, and those are the most votes amongst the black. Go ahead.
I got a video for you.
Go ahead.
With Kamala and another senator that was attacking her on her record of what she's done to black men.
Let's hear that. Let's hear that. I want to hear that.
Come.
But I know she destroyed black men and Hispanic men in California.
Ooh.
She's definitely a heathen. You know, she's definitely the oppressor's child.
Let's get that.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Congresswoman, gather back in your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator.
When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools. Had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate, Cory Booker would not be a member of the United States Senate, and Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds. And so, on that issue, we could not be more apart, which is that the Vice President has still failed to acknowledge that it was wrong to take the position that he took at that time. Now, I would like
Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California. There were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, like, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, had been, the police officer did something that did not give you information would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden. Senator Harris, your response?
this is simply not true. And as Attorney General of California, where I ran the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice, I am proud of the work we did, work that has received national recognition for what has been the important work of reforming the criminal justice system and cleaning up the consequences of the bills that you passed when you were in the United States Senate for decades.
Go ahead.
Yo, she is wicked. Listen, so now, you heard that, right? So, what is that right there? That's nothing but two oppressors airing each other's dirty laundry out there. They knew about each other, right? To get the top seat. And what they say is, oh, well, look, if I don't get the top seat, I'll elect you. If I get the top seat, I'll take you. If I get the top seat, I'll take you. And if you get the top seat, you'll take me. We'll help each other to destroy them together. We can destroy them together. Listen, check this out, right? both of their main goals is to destroy the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand what I'm saying? Both of them are wicked. So, this is the reason why we don't vote, because your vote is not going to matter one way or the other. Why would you vote for someone who the Most High didn't choose? You understand what I'm saying? They are out to destroy us either way. You got that scripture?
Yes, sir.
Let's grab that scripture. Let's read that scripture.
First in the Apocrypha. First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Who are the wicked men? The Sadducees and the Pharisees. In these days, who are the wicked men?
The people that we vote for, the church people, the people we voting for.
Preachers and our pastors.
Church people, yeah.
Those are the wicked men. Those are the wicked men that we follow. You understand? These are the men that our brothers and sisters listen to. These are the men who tell us we should vote for Hillary Clinton. These are the men who tell us we should vote for Bill Clinton. These are the men that tell us we should vote for Kamala Harris and Biden. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many.
Who what?
Persuaded many.
Who persuaded many. This is what they do. We just said that, right? They persuaded many. Go ahead.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Let us go and make a covenant. Let us go and vote for these people that are round about us, these heathen. You understand what I'm saying? When you voting for a heathen, when you voting for your oppressor, you are voting for the heathen round about us. Why would you vote for somebody who does not have your best interest at heart? Why would you vote for somebody who is destroying you already? Listen, this enemy has a perpetual hatred for us. The Bible tells us that. They are wicked from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born. You understand what I'm saying? There is wicked in their blood. Listen, it's in their DNA to do what they are doing to us. This is the reason why the Most High tells us to separate from them. You understand what I'm saying? It says who persuade many. They persuade many. Listen, our women are being deceived, and brothers too. Anytime you can have brothers sitting up in a Donald Trump rally with a MAGA hat on, we are definitely being deceived. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
For since we have departed from them, we have much sorrow. Listen, we try to go on our own, and things don't work out. We feel like we got to go back to them. When things don't happen immediately for us, we feel like we got to go back and get help from the oppressor. When things don't work out for us, we feel like we got to take their welfare. You understand what I'm saying? When things don't work out for them, for us, we feel like we got to go back and beg them for scraps. We feel like we got to go beg them to help us out, to build something for us, to do for us. We can do anything and everything for our own people. These are the things that we need not do. You understand? This is the reason why we need to come up out of that Christian church. We are being destroyed by that Christian church. And because we're being destroyed by that Christian church, because we're listening to these preachers and pastors, they are setting us up on a chopping block for us to be sacrificed to the oppressor.
It's like a man, so-called Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
worse.
Well, this is who that scripture is talking about. You know, you understand what I'm saying? He's telling you he had a dream. He got a dream. He got a dream. You understand? His dream turned out to be a nightmare. You understand what I'm saying? We were destroyed by Martin Luther King's dream. Integration is destroying us. Integration destroyed us and is destroying us to this day. Why is integration destroying us to this day? Because they have Martin Luther King Day. They teach in Black History Month. They teach about Martin Luther King, and they embedded in us that Martin Luther King was a great man. When Martin Luther King was nothing but a sellout to black people. Martin Luther King sold black people
That's
to
right.
our oppressor
That's right.
for $250,000. They had the Big Six back in 1963 that sold everybody out for that March on Washington. What was that? March on Washington in 1963. Those people got paid. Listen, Martin Luther King and them wasn't even the head of the march. President Kennedy put them in charge of that march, unbeknownst. He put them in charge of that march. And he paid them $800,000 in the beginning of the march, and after the march they got paid another $700,000. It's $1.5 million that they got paid to deceive black people. That march on Washington was supposed to have been a march on the White House and a march on the Capitol. President Kennedy got scared because that march was supposed to have been a violent march. And he put Martin Luther King, A. Philip Randolph, John Lewis, and all those other brothers out there to take over that march to calm black people down. And that's exactly what they did, for monetary gain. Everything that they did in those marches on Washington, all those passing of those bills and fighting for voting rights and all of that was for monetary gain. Martin Luther King didn't do that because Martin Luther King didn't do that for black people. He did that for his people, for his pockets, for his gain, and he did that for white people. Coretta Scott King wasn't even his real love. What was that white lady's name that he was in love with in college that they made him leave alone when they asked him to be the head? When they asked him to be the head of that what they call it, the march, not the march, but the civil rights movement. They asked him if he was gonna bring his white girlfriend along. And they said, man, it ain't gonna look good if you fighting for civil rights for black people and you got a white woman on your arm. Coretta Scott King wasn't even his choice.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? As beautiful as that black woman was, she wasn't even his choice. He chose the oppressor. Who knows if he even cared about it? You understand what I'm saying? He was in love with white women. You understand? And with that, I want to say we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Palak.
Right. Security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Pay your goddamn tithes, man. It's a damn pandemic, man. Pay your goddamn tithes so Commander General Yohana can help people off the damn street, man.
That's right.
Do your duty to your race.
That's right.
Selfish ass. Look, you can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8. Means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teach a priest fund. Free will offering. If you like what the priest said, if you like the classes, you like how it's run, send in a donation, man. Do that. You don't do nothing else for black people, god damn. Not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Give $1, $10. You know what I'm saying? You think that tithes is cabbage and goddamn vegetables? Look, send in a can of corn, Negro. Do what you gotta do. Whosoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Congregation, the Passover is still on, man. We just waiting for the orders, man. Remind Akwatium to check social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. One courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I imagine Shabbat, Maj, Brak, Yahba Shem Yahba Shabbat, Yazim Matah, class dismissed.
Hey, that sister sent me in that other garment too.